Hi students. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are able to hear my voice? Yeah, I assume so. So just a volunteering. Srini, are you okay to volunteer as uh, a moderator? Like you can talk to me. We can have a discussion based orientation if you have the capacity. Or Sridevi, yeah, I think, yeah. Thank you, Srini. Srini, can you unmute so we can have a communications together? Hi, Srini, waiting for your voice. Sridevi, yeah, I think you have
Hello, can you
unmuted.
hear me?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Srini.
Thank you, sir.
So, students, now, firstly, don't worry about whatever happening around you. Just focus on what is there with you. Now, we have given a small time. Now, I think hereafter we will not have that much of time. So we will be focusing on a consistent process. Now, you all have already gone through this FlattHall, right? This is the case study. So I think everyone has an idea. And I have also sent you the annotated document also. You can just go through that in detail. Now, firstly, students, the way I analyze the SWOT analysis is always based on the outside in. We have to understand how the market is going on, and then we have to go with our internal analysis because, as you are aware, market is very, very important and essential. Now, students, if you observe in this case, just for your idea, now, if you see here, students, the SWOT analysis, the strategic analysis point of view. Now, before we go into that, I just want to guide you with something called industry-oriented term. Industry-oriented term. Now, this is very, very, very important when you're writing the case study because it's a narrative-based examination. Now, in the industry-oriented terms, this time it's very, very easier to understand. One is known as hall of residence. Hall of residence. This is one term you have to remember. Anyway, you have to remember. Students, any idea what is hall of residence? Mr. Srini, what is hall of residence?
It's the university hostels, kind of.
Excellent, excellent. So can I write down here? These are the university hostel and accommodation, we can effectively say. So this is one thing you have to understand. So hall of residence, university hostel or accommodation. Now, students, you have to understand one thing very, very clearly that in this perspective of the university hostel or accommodation, one thing you have to understand is very, very clear. What is the clerical point here is this is always the first preference for any students. Do you agree with me? Students, do you agree with me? This is the first preference for any students. The reason is convenience. Whatever said and done, they can be within the compound of the college. So that is one thing you have to understand. Can I get a Y in the chat box here? Now you have to understand hall of residence is always the first preference to any of the students. Get that point of view. Clear, no, students? I think we have to accept it. The second one they have given is the private rentals. Now, if you observe the private rentals, landlord comes into the picture. I will come to all those things more into detail, but this can be a bit challenging as well. This can be a bit challenging as well because there needs to be a collaboration. There needs to be a collaboration of room sharing, of room sharing. So they have given in this case 3 person needs to share. 3 persons needs to share. Correct, no, students? That is one thing to understand it. Then the next one, students, is very, very important, is our business. PBSA. And students, this we call it as the purpose built student accommodation. Now, to be honest, this is very, very easier for most of the people, especially in the subcontinent, because can you remember you have something called PG. When you go in Bangalore, Chennai, all this, they say PG. Have you heard that term, students? Paying guest. Yes, on paying guest model. This is similar to the PG model only, students. Paying guest model. You find a residence, you stay there, you pay there, and you leave. That is the ideology here. Now, students, if you observe, the highest risk that is exposed to this business is challenges associated with the university. Challenges associated with the university or college. Now, students, I told you, I just go with the outside-in approach. Now, we will do this analysis more in detail, but now let's come into the very important picture. The very important picture here is, students, this one. Students, can you observe the news report, Tolan Daily Informer? Mr. Srini, did you get this ideation? The failing university age to improve completion rate.
Yes.
Students, yeah, wonderful. Now, students, the biggest challenge in this is there are compliances. Do you agree with me? Compliances. Now, government will always have an idea of what is happening around these completion rates. Now, example, students, the top 10 they have given, they achieve 97% completion range, but the bottom 10 is 68 to 72%. Now, if I go through a detailed application, the average is 78. Now, students understand it very clearly. Now, in this case, you have to understand average is 78. The top 10, effectively, the completion rate is 97. The top 10, the best universities. And here, if you observe the bottom 10, if you observe the bottom 10, I can effectively say it is somewhere around 68 to 72%. Now, if the completion rates are poor, if the government says that there needs to be an inspection conducted, or there needs to be a suspension of these universities with the lower completion rate because of their academics. In other words, the teachers are poor. Now, can this be a direct impact to a business like PBSA, that is purposely build student accommodation? Can this affect that? Of course, right? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Can I get a confirmation? Now, especially this can affect. I think you are aware that this can have a direct implication, because our business, the biggest challenge is we can only rent out for whom? Students. We do not have the capacity to rent it out for a third party. Do you observe that, students? That's the biggest risk we have. So in this case, students, what I have to effectively write down here is university completion rate. University and colleges, degree completion rate. Degree what, students? Completion rates. Students, that's a very, very important thing. Can have a direct impact to PBSA. Now, students, these are like hostels which are only for students. So I'll just write down in case if a university closes down, due to government compliances, due to government rules, it can directly affect our business, So students understand it very, very well. Our business is not an independent business. Our business is a dependent business. So can I write down one weakness of our business model? Dependent on university. Students, do you understand? It's a very critical factor to be considered. Dependent on university. Correct, no, students? Now, students, can I say one more threat is distance learning? Students, have you heard a new model called distance learning? Distance learning means online education. Do you observe that? Nowadays, students, if you observe, even Harvard University is focusing on distance learning. Can I get a Y in the chat box, students, if you are able to understand the application of distance learning? Can I get a double Y in the chat box? Because distance learning, students, you understand it very, very well. These can be the potential exam questions coming You have to think and apply. Again, I'm writing here, thinking and applying is important. So distance learning can be a bigger impact to our business. And because we are always dependent on our university. And then students, we don't have options. We don't have options. We don't have options. We don't have options to rent out for non-student population. Non-student population. That means working crowd, working crowd, working crowd, working crowd. So students, can I get a double Y in the chat box? Now, if you're getting a clarity of that newspaper article, because that is very important. And students, I am just telling you, highlight this distance learning, because distance learning is a huge factor that will affect our business model. Understand it very well. Thank you. Thank you, students. Now, students, the next one, Grado or the grade car Hatchco, a perfect for a student to have in the family. Now, students, I think just to give you a glimpse of this, students, you may be aware there is a model called caravan. That means people live their life inside a caravan. That means a mobile home they can have. Correct, no, students? A mobile home. Now, students, this is a real story also, considering United States of America. If you observe, students, in USA, this model is becoming a successful model. That is, people are living in houses nowadays. Now, even students, if you go like food truck, this concept is again something similar to this. Because students, if you see now, food truck came where people are having their hotel or restaurants. In food truck, they cook, they do it, and they leave it also. Now, students, there is a high level chance, especially to the final year students. When they are in the final year, they can make sure they are flexible within this caravan because they can travel. Now, students, if you see the success is 20 minutes only, we have advantage of our location. But if they have everything which can be fitted into a car, that means, students, there will be a challenge that certain students may skip to go to a car rather than they stay here. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because students, even in India, slowly, this is coming up. Slowly, this is coming up. It's a very niche sector at the moment. And slowly it is coming up where people are slowly shifting into a sector where they live inside vehicles and they have the affordability to have a life what is almost similar to having inside a room where they outsource their laundry, they outsource their other factors, plus still they have the ability to stay within, and it looks a little bit cheaper, convenient, and easier also because this place is mobile at the moment. And students, now the factor is like this: there is two things, legal, then there is something called illegal. Now, this is the thing. And there is something called illegal. Now, illegal are activity, students, which don't have rules or regulations. You understand what I'm saying? Now, students, Instagram Reels. Now, Instagram Reels is illegal because do you have any rules and regulations at the moment for Instagram Reels? Or another thing, students, filters. The filters, what you're using, do you have any rules and regulation? Another example is online classes. Now, students, online classes, do we have rules? No, it's not legal or illegal. It's illegal businesses. Can I get a double Y in the chat box if you are eligible to write this illegal? Can you write this down? Illegal, students. It's not legal. It's not illegal. It's illegal. That means it doesn't have rules or regulation. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are getting that clarity? Excellent. Thank you, Feroza. Thank you, Feroza. So students, can I just write down this as a thread? Now, students, I'll just write down this as a thread so that it will be very easier for you all to understand how these things go. So I'll write down here, students, the grade car, the grade car. This model is where the company is able to have an understanding of the mobility of accommodation. Don't worry, where a car can become a substitute for a room, a substitute for a room, a substitute for a room. Now, students, these are giving you, as a finance manager of this organization, This is giving you an idea and an understanding how you have to ensure your mind is properly kept, and you have to make sure how your thinking is properly aligned. So these are the indirect factors that can affect our business also. So get that clarity very, very, very well. And these are uncontrollable also, because there can be a small shift in the demand as well to be concerned. Now the next one. Don't be afraid to knock down a few walls when you remodel your home. Now students, if you observe detachable walls, so I'll write down here students, detachable wall. Now these walls can be detachable walls. That means it gives you a flexibility. Now students, if you observe currently, if you see in this case, I'll just take you to our business model here. Now, I think you observe in this case, students, you see one bedroom, one bedroom, one bedroom. Now, what happens is, students, you can detach it. Do you see here? This wall can be detached. So it can end up as a master bedroom. Are you understanding that? You can charge more if the students need a master bedroom also. Because students, sometimes there will be a situation, 100% occupancy will not be there. So when there is no 100% occupancy, you give the option whether do you need to have one room or a master bedroom. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? But at the moment, we don't have that option. But in the future, there are chances we can have that option as well. So that is one thing to be considered. Thank you. So I'll just write down here, students, as an opportunity. In the future projects, the business can make sure there is a detachable wall. There is a detachable wall which can make the utilization of room better. Example, single room or a master room. Students, this can be one factor to be considered. So these are the potential factors that we can keep in mind. Then the next one, students, just to make your idea clear. Now here, students, the extracts from the blog. Now, if you observe, students, the social media post. So effectively, they are giving idea about the social media factors that you can keep in mind. And one thing, students, just to keep you updated. Now, if you observe, students, these are in simple language. They are not going to the PBSA. These are students' hall of residence. Now, this is mostly hall of residence, which is within the university compound. So these are the factors they are telling about the hall of residence. Now, one thing, students, just to keep you updated in this case, one thing that you have to understand is they are effectively stating you have to share with 7 people. 7. Now, students, sharing with 7 and one single room in PBSA, that shows a huge value differentiation. Correct, Mr. 7 versus 1. Because certain people, especially the researchers, they prefer to have a one single room. It will be very easier for them, so that it will be easy for understand also. So students are happy, but if you have one single room, it can be even better as well. And students here, the coffee stain, they are effectively stating that it will be better if they can have room service, because currently room service is not there. The only thing that is there is janitorial service or the cleaning service to the compound, not for the room. So I'll just write down here, students, room service can be an added value, can be an added value, can be an added what, students, value. Can I get a confirmation? Therefore, the stains in the room, the stains in the room can be avoided, can be avoided, can be avoided, can be avoided, can be avoided. And students, the threat I can say is social media feedbacks. Social media feedbacks needs to be monitored, needs to be monitored, needs to be monitored, needs to be monitored. Correct, no, students? You have to always monitor the social media feedback. And then, students, a lot about fast. Now, students, again, here they are effectively saying that bringing their cousins to stay. Now, students, at the moment, it is highly regulated. So they can't bring another person to stay with them, highly regulated. But if they want the biggest advantage of moving into private rental, now private rental, you can speak to the landlord and somewhat get some adjustment. But if you see the PBSA and the Hall of Residence, I don't think you have this option. Students, can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Because we have to do an analysis of these three product segments and we have to understand how we can capitalize within these things because all are not our customers. Different students have different needs and wants, and we have rules and we can't go against the rules also. So I'll just write down here, students, another thing, threat. Students bringing non-students. Students bringing what students? Non-students. That is one threat. And students, another advantage, or I can say a strength in this is very openly one strength is highly regulated sector. Highly regulated sector. Highly regulated sector. So students, are you clear with this? Did I miss anything? Can I get a confirmation? I have not yet done with the SWOT model, but I am effectively asking you, are you clear with what we have done until now? Can I get a confirmation? If I miss anything, Mr. Srini or someone can correct me, or Sridevi also can correct me. So anyone, students, anyone I have missed anything, is that fine? Udar, everyone, are you clear with everything? Excellent. Thank you. Sid, yeah, I think everyone is fine. Thank you. Thank you. Now, students, can we just go into step by step so that it will be easier for you all? Now, one strength is listed company, right? Anyway, we are listed company. And one thing, students, you have to understand, we have been there in the market for 30 years in the market, 30 years in the market. And I can say first to start, in simple terms, first to start PBSA, purposely built student accommodation. And then students, currently we have 174 buildings. This is our resource strength. And we have a student base of 78,000 students. Correct, students? Students are 78,000 students. And students, we have 215 colleges in the market, if I'm correct. And market leader also. Market leader also. Thank you, Sridevi, for that. Market leader also. Now, students, can you observe one thing? Can I ask you a very open question? Srini, can we have a quick discussion, Srini?
Yep.
Srini, this industry of our business, do we have any intellectual stability or purely capital-based business stability? How can we connect? Is it due to knowledge or capital? What is needed in order to sustain the business?
It's a capital. In order to
Capital, right?
construct a building, you need a high capital amounts.
Yeah. So can I say one thing, Mr. Srini? If a private university has money, excess money, can they design a better, I can say in simple term, better hall of residence in more like a PBSA style? And can they directly compete with us? Is there a possibility like that? High chances, right? It all
High
depends
chances.
on the
Yeah.
wealth and the
It's a high
land
chances of the
capacity.
wealth and the government regulations. If they allow the university to invest in the money, yes. If a university is the main purpose is to provide services to the student as education, then they don't want to go to hostel services.
Of course, of course. So students, can I say that is a weakness? Because students, anyone who has money can start a business means that's a weak business industry. Keep that in mind, students. The industry is capital based. Industry is capital based. So what are the reason for capital is land. Land is one more thing. And students, land and financial resources. These are very, very, very important. Financial resources. And easily imitable students. If you have a good location, easily imitable for competitors. Anyone who buys the land in advance will dominate the market. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are getting that clarity behind this analytical review of the industry? Because that is very, very, very important, students, because anyone who has money will dominate the market, and that is the biggest challenge. And students, I will come to the areas. Example, students, we have something called, I'll just write down with the purple color so that I will do the theory areas as well. Financial decisions, debt or equity, students, financial decisions, and WACC. and WACC, weighted average cost of capital. This can be 100% question because we need money and we need to analyze the WACC because every location will have the business risk. And also students, can you remember the top 10 university, if you are targeting, the business risk is less. But if you are targeting a university which is having a very poor, I can say very poor completion rate, it will also affect our business. So you have to be very much careful on choosing the properties based on the location plus the university quality also. So can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you got this understanding of FlattHall properly? Any questions you like to ask, you can let me know. But this is the biggest challenge I effectively see from our business, capital intensive. And the next thing, students, just to keep you all very much available to the system. Now, students, financial systems, financial IT systems are weak. Financial IT systems are weak. Why I'm touching that point is students are weak because students, we take a deposit from the student, right? So we have to identify that they did not give anything. So I can write down here business intelligence for the sake of coming, okay? Because this is an exam also, no, students. For our business, we may not need it, but the exam, they may test business intelligence. Don't worry, I will touch those areas. Business intelligence is one more factor you have to keep in mind. And also students, one more area that we have to be very much concerned with is business and also big data. Because students, big data is very important considering because we have to control the students. Students are now completely in the online market. So we have to have our online presence very strong. Because did you observe a lack of social media marketing? Lack of social media marketing. That was there because we are going with the traditional marketing like open day. Students, can I write down here? Relied on traditional marketing, like open day, and referral marketing is also there. Correct, no, students? We can ask our students to refer our business also. The referral marketing is also there. So can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are able to understand the marketing challenges we effectively have? And the biggest, I can say, it's not a strength or a weakness, I can say industry point of view, is this business is low risk business because students, every year students come. Every year students are coming and going. Correct, no, students? So low risk business because everything depends on the university stability. For instance, if your business is very close to IIT or IIM, I don't think you will have any issues. Can I get a double Y in the chat box? I used IIT and IIM because these two industries will anyway survive. Correct, no, students? For the next 30-40 years, IIT and IIM will be there. Correct? Yes or no? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because that is the point of view you have to keep in mind. Thank you. So that is one challenge. Now, students, coming down, so that let's come to all those things, opportunities. So students, acquisition of properties. Can this be an opportunity? Acquisition of properties. Can this come, students? Can there be a situation of acquisition of properties? Of course. So I'll write down here IAS 40, IAS 16. All these are very important. IFRS 13, students. Don't worry, already recordings are there. You can go through that. Fair value measurement. There's a section called fair value measurement because this is very important. And then students, there can be situation like fire, earthquake, floods. Can that also happen, students? Yeah, this can also happen. Like natural disasters is a possible challenge for our business. And after the students, after fire, earthquakes, and collapse, and then we have something like, for instance, students, I can say promotions. You can have promotions, and I can effectively say loyalty schemes, students. We can have loyalty schemes. That is like in order to keep the students for 3 years, We can give them loyalty. That means if you're staying for only 1 year, you will get this much. 2 years, a 5% discount. 3 years means a 10% discount. And for example, you will get like a 5% discount on laundry services, all those things. Can I get a Y in the chat box if you are getting that, students? And another thing is, students, growth in the student population. Growth in the student population. And students, can you tell me, if you observe, how many percentage of the market our business, that is PBSA, gives? I can say currently, we only serve how many percent, students? 16%, right? Therefore, there are high chances for the growth, high chances for the growth. I'll quickly come to here, students. Do you observe in this case, they are effectively stating we have a very high number. And also this diagram is very important. We are only serving how many percent, students? 16%. Private rental is dominating because it is the cheapest source. Bargaining can be done. But for Hall of Residence and PBSA, do you have bargaining or fixed price, students? Fixed price. Can I get a confirmation here? So can I write down here private rental, why it is high is bargaining? Can I write down here, students? Bargaining. Bargaining is there. Can I get a double Y in the chat box? But here, students, it is fixed rate. These two, the common thing between PBSA and Hall of Residence is fixed rate. Can I get that confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Because that is very, very important. And flexibility. In private rental, students, there is a flexibility. Like, students, non-students can also be accommodated. Example, parents are coming, they can also stay in that place and go. Correct? There are chances like that. And also, students, understand it very well. The student population, the full-time student population is increasing. Do you observe it, students? The full-time population. And even if you see, the overseas populations are mildly only increasing, but we have a local demand, which is something that we have to keep in mind. And also, students, my understanding very transparently is, for foreign students, I think Hall of Residence will be initially provided. I think so, because that's how it works out in every country. So in that case, students, our target audience will be in this perspective. Now, students, one weakness we have, if I'm very certain, is, yeah, for the first year, one weakness we have is, students, a segmentation have they given. Segmentation. Example, students, male, female. I'll be very transparent with you. Male, female students, did they give any relative with segmentation? Can I get a Y in the chat box? Segmentation, students, did they give anything with regards to segmentation? Did you see anything with regards to segmentation, male, female? Because I think segmentation will be a value addition. I'll tell you why. Because, students, you see here, we have FlattHall divide. Let's assume, students, let's assume very transparently, this well term is only focusing on females. They have a value addition. They have a value addition because they have become focused oriented. Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? That focused oriented. We only focus on females. We only focus on males. Are you understanding that perspective there? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because that is very, very important. Now, these things are not tested in the examination, but I want you to think beyond the exam point of view. Now, students, the biggest threat is, I'll just write it down, students, drugs. Students, is drugs a big threat? I don't think this can come in the exam, but I want to make sure you be very practical. Can drugs be an issue in PBSA, students? Yes or no? Drugs, can that be an issue, students? Of course, right? There can be drug issues. Agree, no, students? Okay. So this is a bigger factor to be considered. Alcohol, drugs, alcohol, smoking. Now it all depends, students. It all depends. But I have to be very, very transparent with you so that you will understand the thinking aspect. And then, students, illicit relationships, all these things can happen. And we have to make sure we think about the situations very practically. So are you clear with this concept? Because this is very, very, very important. Thank you, students. Thank you. Lack of cleaning and maintenance will have a direct impact on the revenue losing, attracting the students. I agree with you. Specifically the room service, because I told you students, we have to make sure room service has an added value. Because what Sridevi is saying is 100% correct, because they may clean up the room once in every year, but the challenge is in case if the damages are higher, like the stains was higher, again, when you do the cost benefit analysis, you will be facing more cost challenges. I completely agree with what Sridevi is saying. And students, another strength I can say is gearing is low. Gearing is low. I think gearing is somewhere around 26% students. Gearing is low. So more financial capacity, because I said I will do the financial analysis on the Thursday class, but more financial capacity. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are understanding this perspective very well, if you are understanding this perspective very well? Any questions there you can ask me, students, but are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? So these are the understanding. Now, students, let's do a service analysis. Can we do a service analysis now, so that it will be very easier for you all to think as managers? Service analysis. Now let's do a service analysis so that it will give us a better clarity on how we have to think, how we have to position our mindset. Now, if you observe this service analysis, there are three services to keep in mind. What about the students' participation in university activities? Technically speaking, that doesn't have any effect towards ourselves, because our duty is to give sure their accommodation functions only. I think I am correct there. So these are the three things, students. Hall of residence, hall of residence. Now this is one factor. Then the second one comes is, students, is the private rentals. And the final one is our business, that is PPSA, purpose. I'll write down here, purpose built students accommodation. Purpose built students accommodation. I believe everyone has got it. So can we do a service analysis? Yeah. Safety. Students, can I say hall of residence safety is high? Do you agree with me? Safety. And even PBSA safety is high. Students, can we get a confirmation here? Safety level is high in hall of residence. Do you understand why? Because there is always a concierge, there is always someone to take care. So I'll write down here, concierges are there. Concierges means the caretaker, students. Concierges are there. So the safety perspective, I can effectively go with these two categories. Private rental, students, you have to manage. You have to manage. You have to manage. You have to manage. Make sense? Yeah. The next things, convenience. I can say convenience point of view, if you do a strategic analysis, high, very high. But here, convenience point of view, yes, convenience comparatively lower to hall of residence, but still convenience is good, because students, 20 minutes distance. Correct, no, students? I believe everyone is very, very clear with that 20 minutes only. But students, coming here on this one, depends, right? Can I write down here, students? Depends. Can I use the term depends? Do you understand what I'm saying? Depends on the location. Depends on the location. Depends on the location. And the other one, students, sharing 7 people. Sharing is how much, students? 7 persons or 7 individuals. You have to have 7 individuals. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here, the sharing is going with how much, students? 3 individuals. Correct? 3 individuals. And if you observe here, 1 room. 1 per room. So in that case, I can say domination is here. Can I say this is our major value differentiator? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you understood this is our major value differentiation? Correct, no, students? I believe it is very, very clear. So utilities, yes, included. It's included. It's included. Electricity, everything. And here also utilities included. Utilities included. Utilities is included. Utilities included. Utilities included. Laundry, everything. But here charge separately. Charge separately. Charge separately. So students, one advantage is controllable. You can control this utility factors. Like example, like washing your clothes. You can wash it through your hands. You can be economical in this case. I can write down here economical, economical, economical. So price rise, price high. In the here also price is high. But here students, if you observe, price is very high. I'd say high, very high. One room, no students, one room. And here if you see lowest, price is the lowest. Price in this case is lowest. Students, can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are getting that perspective very, very, very well? So in this case, the other thing. So can I write down next one? No flexibility. You do not have flexibility. No flexibility, because anyway you have to go with the rules. And here depends. Flexibility is high. Flexibility is what, students? High. Flexibility. Flexibility is very high because landlords, correct, no students? And here no flexibility. Students, can I just mention here no flexibility? Can I get a confirmation here? So in this case, price is lowest, one advantage. Flexibility is very high, one advantage. Correct, no students? And economical is also there. You can charge separately. So you are controlling all your cost. So now can we come to this sector so that you will understand why private rental is now 51%. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are able to identify why private rental is the highest? Can I get a confirmation now, students? Because it's very practical, right? Any student will prefer the private rental, right? At the end of the day. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are getting why private rental is dominating? I believe now you are clear. They need flexibility, economical also. So they will somewhat try to find it as the most one. But here it's a little bit expensive. So our target audience will be very, very, I can say premium children. I think so. Not the majority. The premium crowd will come here. So that is the service analysis. Now, students, let's come to the market analysis. So this will give you even more. So the competition or the market analysis. Now, students, if you see in the market analysis, there are 10 players. Correct, no, students? 10 players in the market in total. Now, students, you have to understand the industry type. Now, can you remember we always go through the section called the business ecosystem? So I have to make sure the ecosystems are very, very clear so that the students can think very, very well. Now, business ecosystem, we consider two things very openly. One is the complexity. So complexity is, students, the rules and regulations for the industry, for the industry, for the industry. Now, example, students, example, aeroplane. If you say aeroplane industry, anyone can manufacture the aeroplane as you want. Rules and regulation is high. So I'll write on here highly complex. Correct, no, students? Highly complex. Another example of complexity is, students, cigarettes. Now, cigarette license, anyone can't manufacture. Cigarette manufacturing. Anyone can't produce cigarette as you want because highly complex industry. Get it very, very clearly, students. Then, students, orchestration. Orchestration means, students, unity among competitors. Unity among competitors, among competitors, among competitors, unity among competitors. So in this case, what I can effectively suggest is, students, it's not so complicated. It's very simple. Example, students, Pepsi and Coke. Now you see Pepsi and Coke, they are highly united because they control the price. They don't allow a third party to come inside. Pepsi, Coke. So that is orchestration, how you control the market by uniting with your partners. Another example I can effectively give students like Pepsi and Coke, KFC and McDonald's. They are competitors, but they will never let another third-party competitors come inside. Another example can be, students, Microsoft and iOS. They are competitors, but they will not allow a third party to come in. Another example is Netflix. Now, students, Netflix, you don't have any rules. And I can say Amazon Prime. They are competitors, but they are united competitors. So can I get a confirmation from you if you understood the ideology between complexity? Complexity are government rules. Orchestrations are unions that is formed by the market players, They form a united union. So can I get a double Y in the chat box if you are clear, so that we will do the ecosystem orientation. So if you observe, students, I'll just make your life very simple and easier to understand. So one thing I'll write down here, I'll merge it. So we call it as the complexity. Complexity means the rules by the government or any regulatory body. So I'll write down here low, I'll write down here high. And the other one is, students, we call it as orchestration. What is the other one, students? Other one is known as what, students? Orchestration. Orchestration means the unity among the people in the market. It can be lower and it can be what, students? Higher. So let's start working on this step by step. Let's start working on this step by step so that you will understand the things very, 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 very clear and very, 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 very easier also, so that you won't have any problems. Now, students, if you observe our business in our country, right? If you see our country, that is Tolan, right? So it's Tolan, yeah, our country. So Tolan rules are very high. Tolan rules are high. Tolan rules. Rules are high. Rules are high. Because we can only provide accommodation for students. Correct, no, students? Can I get a confirmation? Rules are high. So it's a complex environment. Now, students, if you observe, the orchestration is not so high. That's what I told you. You need to have money. You have to go. So the orchestration in this case is, rules are high, the orchestration is very low. Each competitors have their own model. That means they are connected with universities. They don't directly compete with each other. So what is the point of view is, we are here. We are somewhere here. And I'll just color this section so that it will be very easier for you all. Where the rules are high and the orchestration is low, we call it as the hornet nest. We are hornet nest. Hornet nest. Example, if you observe our business, FlattHall, and do it. We are not directly competing with price. We know we are in this sector, but we won't have close by. We won't target the same university students. So it's a hornet nest. Now, if it is high and the orchestrations are, we call it as Lion's Pride. Lion's Pride sector. Example of Lion's Pride sector, students, is Visa, MasterCard. Now, students, Visa, MasterCard, Amex. Now, these are Lion's Pride. If you see, students, these three will be dominating the market for a long time. Rules are there, and also there are orchestration. And another one is Boeing and Airbus. Boeing and Airbus in real life, they are Lion's Pride business. And complexity is low, but orchestration is very high. We call it as the wolf gang. Example of wolf gang industry, students, I told you Netflix and Amazon. It's a wolf gang business. The government doesn't interfere, but they control the market. Another example, students, of a wolf gang is Facebook, Instagram. They are only dominating. There are no rules, but they slowly form unions and they're dominating. Another classical example is Pepsi and what, students? Pepsi and what, students? Coke. Low complexity, no rules and no unions also. We call it as a Shark Tank. Effectively, very, very bad industry to go. Shark Tank business is, students, very openly speaking, like example, farmers. Now, if you see farmers, they are having still a problem on controlling their own prices. They don't have a wheat price. So if you observe, the best market is the Lion's Pride, because you can dominate the market for a longer time. But if you observe, hornet nest is also somewhat fine. But the biggest challenge in hornet nest is anyone who has money can start business. Like, students, if you observe a hornet nest industry in India or anywhere is hospitals. Now, students, anyone who has money can go to the government and say, we have land building, give us the license. Okay. So the advantage of this is you don't directly compete. You are like clustered. So this is the complexity. So in this case, we are here. So we don't have a direct rival. Although they say duet is a direct rival, they don't directly take our students because we may have our own university. They may have their own university. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are understanding how this industry is? So effectively, we are in a safe business. Our business is not so complex. Our business is in a safe and safety business. Fine. So this is the market analysis. And the last aspect that we have to do is risk analysis. So can we do the risk analysis also, students? Can I write down here risk analysis? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are understanding this? So can I write down here risk analysis? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are clear with this risk analysis? So let's go with that. Now, if you see the risk analysis, students, I just want to say university dependency. University dependency. Correct, no, students? University dependency. High interconnected risk. High interconnected risk. This is one thing because their ranking, their completion rate, all those things are dependent. And then students, government rule. Government rule is also one more challenge. So can I write down here? Highly interconnectable. Highly interconnected. Highly interconnected. So students, can I get a confirmation from you all? Now, these are the things as a manager you have to keep in mind. We are in a complex industry. We are in a complex industry, but we are not directly fighting. There is no price wars or nothing like that. We are completely clustered. Like students, 5-star hotels. Students, 5-star hotel, it's not easy to start. You have to get license and everything. But Hilton will not directly compete with Radisson. Can I get a double Y in the chat box if you understood that 5-star hotel business? 5-star hotels don't directly compete with each other. And one 5-star hotel is completely different from another 5-star hotel, appearances wise, customer services wise. Fine. I believe that is very, very clear for you all. So this is the summary. So this is a good case study and an easy case study, I feel. I don't know how you felt, but technically speaking, understandable, easy, passable also. And I can assume that we can have a 100% pass rate if we are okay with the practice sessions, what we are going to do. So I'm going for the one-to-one session. So can I start with the people? So I'll start with Bushi. Any questions for the day? Feroz, any questions for the day? Srini, any questions for the day? Sridevi, any questions for the day? Udara, any questions for the day?
Uh, Hello,
Yes,
sir. This
Srini.
is I have one question related to the main point. What is one of the weakness and based on the case study, how to sustain? Do I see any like a potential case question that mergers and acquisition? Maybe FlattHall would like to acquire the smallest ones to sustain and become leader. Do you see this
Of
mergers and
course.
acquisition point of view?
Yeah, definitely. And it can consider with IFRS 10 consolidation. There can be a merger for sure. And there can be an investment of land for sure. And there can be a situation partnership with a university also. That is also the possibility. Are you understanding there? So
Yeah.
you are perfectly correct. You are on the
Thank you.
right track, Mr. Srini.
Thank you.
Welcome. Uh, Others, I think everyone is clear. There was something. More stakeholder management. Will it be to cover under risk? Technically speaking, yes. Yes, yes. It's again a Mandela analysis what we have to do, but it's not much challenging. But I can say this time, I believe common sense wise, we don't have an issue. Correct? No, everyone would have stayed in a rental. Everyone would have stayed in an apartment. Everyone would have stayed. So I think we have identified all these things. So effectively, the only challenge is need to diversify our customer and one more thing, Mr. Srini, can I just add it to you? Can I just give you an idea? Can I just say?
Sure, sure.
Mr. Srini, one opportunity we have is customer diversification. That means we can build the same type of accommodation targeting working crowd, working population. Can that be also a point? Example, our university students will become potential employees. Correct, no, Mr. Srini? And for example, we can start a residential complex for working population near some IT park or something like that. Can that be a future
Yes, like a
diversification?
service apartment for the working employees.
Of course. Their internship time, they can go there and stay, and we can give them some better amenities also, and we can have less restrictions for them. Correct, no, Mr. Srini?
Yeah, and
So
also
this
I'm
can
thinking,
be
I was also thinking an opposite for the grad car, which is a threat. Maybe we should also provide like an storage rooms, because nobody wants, if a student want to continue year 2 and year 3, they can have an luggage lockers or something.
perfectly correct because they can have a small cupboard for their locking arrangement. So that can be perfectly excellent, and wonderful. I think students, this is excellent. But do we have a gym inside our accommodation? Do we have a gym? I don't think so, right?
No, not in the case study.
No, not in the case study. So can I just write it down, students? Very young students, right? Gym and canteen facilities. Canteen facilities we don't have. Did you observe that, students? We
Yeah,
have a kitchen, but we can have a canteen facility also. Mess. Can I write down here? Mess can be arranged. Mess can be arranged. Because students, these are extremely high value addition for students because they don't have time to everyday cook and have meals. So mess can be arranged also. And refrigerators, can we give refrigerators also to store their food? Refrigerators within rooms in case because we are charging the highest fee, so we are also eligible to do that because if someone else is doing and if students have the option also, there will be a situation they will shift to another person. Correct, no, Mr. Srini?
yep, yep, that's right.
Of course,
The
that's right.
common, yeah, like a common coffee
Common
area, we can have a common refrigerator for that flat.
storage, correct. So I think our strategic analysis is perfect, and I think everyone has come to a correct point of view. So on Thursday, we will do the financial analysis. And on our Saturday class, we will do a synthesis. And from that day onwards, we will start with the theory, practice, theory, practice, theory, practice. So effectively, we will complete the syllabus on time. Is that fine, everyone?
Uh, Sir, one small silly question. Sorry to ask this. I'm not able to download the like the Word document what you have given in the
Can I
Google
show
Doc.
it how to download? I'll
Please,
just show it to
sorry,
you.
sorry for the silly
Yeah,
question.
no problem. It's not a silly question, students. I'll anyway show it to you. You have two options. You can have the application in your mobile phone. That is one option. Okay, Mr. Srini, can you see this
Yeah,
classwork?
yes,
This
I
is
can see that.
Stream. Stream will have our a meeting link. All the things will be updated. Classwork, when you click students, what happens is now today's note also I will update. Now let's assume a situation, SWOT analysis. I'll click on the view instruction. Now, if you click on this SWOT analysis, it goes to a situation like this. That is undownloadable. You see only this, correct?
Yep.
So you have to click on the printer. You
Okay.
see the printing option. That doesn't mean you need to have a printer. Then it will open in another tab. You got the download option.
Okay, got it.
So you can not only download my Word documents, you can download my videos. You have the options to download everything. These are the textbook. These are all these things. And students, I just want to give you one thing. Thank you very much, Mr. Srini. Now, one thing I have to give your guidance is study style 2024. Because this is the biggest challenge for all the students in today's term on how to study. Because when you went to schools earlier, the problem you had was you did not have resources. That was the problem. But in 2024, resources is high. What do you think, students? Do you feel that? Everywhere resources. Social media, Google, classroom, CIMA, everything resources. Do you agree with me? So we have a excess demand or excess supply on resources. So can I write down here resources, excess supply? Excess supply. So what happens to students is students are not having a resource constraint anymore. So my suggestion is, or my style of teaching is not to give you excess supply of resources, but to make sure resources are streamlined. In simple language, reduce the burden and focus on productivity. Students, are you understanding what I am saying here? I think this is the best strategy because the notes, the textbook, everything, what I am doing is I am reducing the burden and focusing on the productivity. I believe everyone has got this clearly, students. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you understood the strategy here? Because the challenge for the 2024 student is excess supply of materials. And time is limited. They don't have time. They don't have time. If I tell, go through everything, study this, study that, and come to you, at the end of the day, you will not even do whatever you prefer to do also. So I'm going to streamline your burden, focus on productivity, and increase the results with good marks so that it will help you even to work in your organization also. So today, I think we had an excellent session. So thank you very much, everyone. Meet you all in the next class. Take care, students. Good night.